I may or may not have bought more books. Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, doctor, lawyer, turned homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 8, 5, and 3. Though they are all fall babies, so they'll be turning 9, 6, and 4 in the fall. And you'll probably see me stumble over their ages for the first few months. I went to a homeschool mom's moving sale. If you are trying to be a minimalist homeschooler, don't do this. It's bad. It's really bad. This particular family was a missionary family, and they were going down to South America to do missionary work, and they were selling basically everything. So it was intense. Their entire living room, their dining room, and like an adjoining room were full of books. Now, one good thing about going to a homeschool mom's book sale is you start to realize I am not as much of a hoarder as I thought I was. But on the other hand, you also realize that the prices at homeschool mom book sales are not nearly as good as at consignment sales or at thrift stores. So when I buy used books, I'm generally used to getting incredibly nice books for $1 to $5. At a homeschool mom sale, moms will think, you know, I never use this curriculum, it's basically brand new. I'll price it at like 70% or 50% or even 40%, which is not $1 to $5 in general. So my love and zest for acquiring more books was warring with my thrifty nature. So I definitely resisted. I only came away with, let's see, less than 20 books, which is pretty good. And I felt like, even though I was paying a little bit more, I was contributing to like a good cause, etc., helping her family go and fulfill their dreams and help other people, etc. Right? That makes sense, right? I mean, come on, make me feel good about this year, because I definitely spent more than I usually do. But I feel like it was for a good cause. So there's that. I feel from the length of time that I've gone on about this that I still feel a little bit of guilt for having acquired more books and not at the best prices. But anyway, I will, in no particular order, just kind of show you what I got. So one of the first things that I saw when I walked in were these 2 books, and they are 2 reproducible workbooks. One is Maps of the World and one is Maps of the United States. Just to show you, I like the idea of notebooking through geography, etc. I probably won't use this next year, but perhaps for middle school. I think these are really appropriate for middle school level. These are both by Emerald Books, and the way the books are designed, you go through each continent. So for example, when they start South America, you have a couple pages just on South America itself. So here you can see the map of South America with all the countries delineated. And then you have a worksheet that lays out things like total land area, total population, major languages, major religions, major natural resources, etc. And then you have a second page that talks about bodies of water, major rivers, major landforms, their highest and lowest points, their elevations, any other special geographical features. And then it goes on and talks about different regions. So the Northern Andes is a region they talk about, and the individual countries. So here's the page on Bolivia, and it talks about the capital, the date of independence, the ethnic groups in Bolivia, the 5 largest cities, the major natural resources, major industries, etc. So I just really like the pages as really simple ways of creating like a notebook. So if we were, for example, going to study Norway, I would probably reproduce the page on Norway and include that as one of the pages inside their notebooking about Norway. I don't plan at all on using a book like this straight through. Just to give you an idea of the Maps of the United States one, it's also really nice. It has a little page here with facts about the particular state, and this one happens to be Kentucky. So you have this nice little map of Kentucky with rivers and natural landforms like mountains, etc. It talks about things like date of statehood, rank of entry into the Union, the state motto, the state nickname, the current population, industries, exports, the senators, names for residents of the states. For example, a resident of California is a Californian. And in the map section, it gives you a little guide. So if you can see right here, it shows you a little guide, and it says things like label these geographical features on the map, like the state's major rivers and bodies of water, the state's mountain ranges, the highest point, the capital city, the 5 largest cities, national parks in the states, and any other major features. For example, like in Washington, you'd have Mount St. Helena, etc. So I really like this. I like that they're reproducible. I think they'll be a perfect addition to notebooking. I know you can find things like this online on Pinterest, but honestly, my version of minimalist homeschooling is to minimize looking at things on Pinterest, because it just takes a while. And even if you build really good little collections and everything, like I have some nice collections of, you know, math curricula things and geography curricula things, sometimes it's just hard to weed through that. It's really easy if you're doing notebooking on Missouri to grab the book on all the states and copy a page of Missouri and call it a day. So trying to minimize the difficulties in my life here. Another book that I got in the geography vein was this book, and it's just a United States coloring book. I really liked it. I thought the pages were super, super cute. So here you have, what state is this? California. So you have major features of California shown, and you can color them in. It also has a picture of one particular landmark that kids might want to know about. And it's just a 2-page spread for each state. So here's Colorado, and it talks about their state bird, their state tree, their state flower. So it's just 2 pages for every state, all the way to the end where you have just maps of the United States where you can color where you live and where your friends live. This one is just called the United States Coloring Book by A. Daniel Zook, Z-O-O-K, and it is by Rod and Staff. So I really like it. I don't find anything particularly non-secular about it, so I like it a lot. I managed to grab some Usborne books over there, which is always nice. So I grabbed the Usborne Children's Picture Atlas. I'll be running an Usborne party probably in the fall again. Last year I ran it, and what I do is from the Usborne party, whatever proceeds I get from the party, I donate in a giveaway to one of you guys. So keep an eye out for that in the fall, especially before you start doing your Christmas shopping. Usborne books are a big favorite around here. I think they're super high quality and useful. This is a children's picture atlas. It's very thin and paperback. I like having simpler atlases, especially for my younger kids, so that they don't feel so overwhelmed. I really like this one. It talks about more theoretical things in geography, like deserts and grasslands, different biomes, forests, rivers, lakes, ways to get around, seas and oceans, the whole entire world, and then each of the continents. So it talks about here's Asia, for example, so you can see, and it shows on the pictures like different people, different animals that are found in different places. A beautiful book, like basically all Usborne books. We have a bunch of these Usborne books in our house already. These are the flap books. I cannot recommend them highly enough, especially if you've ever... Bleh. We have a bunch of Usborne flap books already. We did not have the dinosaurs one, so I was happy to find this. Dinosaurs are a particular passion of my son, and so my daughters have liked them too, because, you know, he sort of leads the discussion half the time. But this one has really nice flaps. So if you've never seen an Usborne flap book, it'll ask you a little question and give you a little fact and stuff on the outside. And then you have these tiny little flaps where you learn more information. So this one is more informational than question-based. There are some Q&A Usborne flap books that are also great, but they're all really, really sweet. And the kids just have a really good time looking through them. Even my non-reader, my tiniest, the 3-year-old, loves the Usborne flap books, and she knows she has to be careful with them. And because they're so big, I think she realizes that they're serious books, and she takes good care of them. Another flap book that I picked up at her sale was the See Inside Science book. And this one is the same way. It's more informational than Q&A. But here it says if they can't do it, so if they can't crack open the little seeds, you know, these little finches, they might die. And then it talks about the different finch beaks. So this one has a bigger beak, so can crack these nuts. He'll live, but his brothers with the smaller beaks will die. And soon you will find many more finches with big beaks around here. So it is definitely talking about evolution and how natural selection happens, etc. Here you have the Usborne Spotter Guide. I was really happy to find this. I'm hoping to do astrology with my son for next year in 4th grade. He chose chemistry as his focus of study this year, so we're focusing on chemistry and just outdoor adventure, nature that's found in the area. So next year I'm really hoping that I can lead him to pick astronomy, because I don't know very much about astronomy at all beyond like our planets you know, and the stuff I learned in elementary school. So as you guys all know, one of the big perks of being a homeschool parent is that you get to learn again. And I would love to learn more about constellations and the star formations, etc. So this is a really nice little book. It's like an easy pocket kind of book, but it has really good information, beautiful pictures of the different constellations. I'm just really happy about it. It has internet links as well. I'm not sure if those internet links are still valid because I do believe this was published a little while ago. Let's see, 2006. So maybe the internet links are still valid. Another little Osborne book I picked up is this one, 50 Things to Make and Do. Normally I don't pick up these activity books because I don't actually use them, but this one seemed really approachable and something that we could do with materials that we already have on hand. So here is like a fairy collage, and you make it with magazine pictures of flowers, etc. So that's something I could do. You can draw a fairy peeking around the side of a flower, etc. So really cute little ideas. Here's paper daffodils. How cute is that? And it's just with crepe paper. So crepe paper is like a simple thing to find in a thrift store or just pick up at a craft store. I like crafts where you can find the materials really easily and you don't have to be an actual artist and have materials on hand. Here you have cartoon cats. So it teaches you how to do these with watercolors. Here's some sparkly beads you can make from paper. I remember doing this in camp when I was little. Here's some window pictures with, so you basically use tissue paper and make frames for them. So you color them and they give you the stained glass effect. Really cute little book. 50 Things to Make and Do. Another set of books I picked up are these 5 books, and they are A Walk in the Boreal Forest, A Walk in the Desert, A Walk in the Tundra, A Walk in the Prairie, and A Walk in the Decidual Forest. These are just really nice. It's a way of teaching your kids about different ecosystems, different habitats, what types of animals and plants you find in them. I like that it's a combination of photographs and drawings again, especially for nature journaling. That makes it really fun. Not too much text, but also not too little, so it makes it really good for a morning basket kind of book, as well as a nature study book. I'll show you one more, the prairie one. And these are by Rebecca L. Johnson, if you wanted to look them up. So it's different biomes of North America, basically, this series. So here you have prairie. And again, they all have these cute little illustrations on the side as well that your kids could maybe copy for nature study. These were some books that I picked up. I was really excited to find them. They are books about North Carolina forests in particular, and we live in North Carolina now. These are not secular, but I really like them. They are story-based. One is fall and winter, and one is spring and summer. It is designed to be sort of a story of the 3 Wilson children, and they go on walks and they learn about it. It will talk about God. It says on the back, this fascinating story shows a close family relationship and gives glory to the great giver of good gifts, God. So if you are a Christian family, this is a really nice thing to look into. I don't know if they do more states than just North Carolina, but I really like the layout of it. This is by Rod and Staff as well, and they're written by Rosa Kurtz Mullet. And I just really like, so they do have prayers in them, etc. This will be a read aloud for me, so I will just eliminate the things that I don't want to read, etc. But all the pages have these beautiful illustrations. Again, really nice for nature study copying. And the story is really gentle and sweet. So it'll talk about, for example, between the mock orange bush and the hedge hung a beautiful orb web, newly spun the night before. The silken strands, beaded with moisture, swung like ropes of pearls. More than 24 spokes stretched out from a misty white center to a diameter of 2 feet. Countless sparkles of light came from fine threads that traveled from spoke to spoke, forming a net of wondrous beauty. A heavy zigzag of animal silk began at the center and ran halfway toward the margin. Near the middle sat an inch-long black and yellow spider, head downward. Yellow spots partly covered her black abdomen, and silver-white hairs adorned her back. And it talks about how spiders are arachnids, etc. Sometimes the parents don't know what the animals are, so it talks about them going to find the book to figure out what they are. It illustrates sort of a process of life that I would like to mimic in my home when it comes to nature study. So I was really happy about this. I never grew up in this part of the country, so I don't know a lot of the plants here. I don't know some of the animals and insects. So this is, again, another good educational piece for me. Another piece of this were these 2 workbooks, and I don't know if I'll use this as much because we're not a huge workbooking family for nature study especially, but it does have for every single chapter a list of accompanying questions and blanks for you to answer them. So, for example, what bird family does the mockingbird belong to? Name 2 other birds that are in this family, etc. So if you're interested in workbooks, they do have them. Another non-secular thing that I picked up at this particular sale was the Prescripts book, which if you've ever been in CC, you will recognize. It is cursive sentences mixed with art lessons, and it is a really nice, gentle way of just practicing the history sentences that CC has you do for memory work. So for example, here you have, in 1620, the Pilgrims from Plymouth, England signed the Mayflower Compact before landing in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And it will copy that a couple times. So you're supposed to trace them and then write the sentence. And then you have just like a picture with a description about the same thing here, and then it has an area for your own drawing. It's spiral bound. It's very nice for an older kid especially. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this, honestly, especially in the coming year, but I thought it was a nice book. I always wanted to get Prescripts even when I was doing CC, and I just like it. I like that it has a little art study. So for here, for example, this is based on a really famous picture from a National Geographic photograph about a mother in the Great Depression. And it describes, in this famous photograph, the artist who snapped the picture has noticed the balance naturally occurring in the moment she observed. Do you see the woman in the center and the children on either side of her? The children create balance in the composition. So it is an art study combined with cursive. And you know, it's very Charlotte Mason-y of me, and I like that idea of combining art study into a lot of other topics. I think whenever we can sort of make children realize that everything in the world occurs at once and learning is all around us, the more easily learning fits into their everyday life. So that's what I like about the Precepts book. Other books that I got were the Cloud book by Tommy DePaola. I'm a fan of his, even though I don't really like the 26 Fairmount Avenue that much. This is the Cloud book. It's a Reading Rainbow book, which I grew up on Reading Rainbow, so obviously I was going to get this. And it's just a really cute book that goes through all the different types of cloud formations. The Persian Cinderella. I love retellings of stories, or even like comparative stories that relate to children. I think it's really interesting how a lot of the same fairy tales seem to have grown up in different cultures. And I like the idea that you can extend the same themes to different cultures, whether or not they were original tales. So this is a beautifully illustrated book, and I look forward to reading it with my kids. I got 2 Indian in the Cupboard books. I don't have them, and I really loved Indian in the Cupboard when I was little. I actually have never read the series. I only ever read the very first one, The Indian in the Cupboard. But there's also The Return of the Indian and The Secret Indian and The Mystery of the Cupboard. So I haven't actually read any of those, and I want to build up our collection. And I also got a Beverly Cleary book that I have never read and we don't have, called Ellen Tebbitts. Ellen Tebbitts thought she would die of embarrassment if any of the girls at school learned her secret, but then she met Austine Allen, a new girl in class who was hiding the very same secret, and they became best friends immediately. Embarrassing secrets weren't so bad when you had someone to share them with. I love Beverly Cleary, all things Beverly Cleary, and these are just really fun chapter books to read to my kids, my son and my daughters both. So that was my little baby haul. I didn't think it was too bad, and I feel like I helped that family out a little bit, so it wasn't so bad. And I will talk to you guys later. Did you want to say bye-bye in the video, Juju? Did you want to say bye-bye to everybody? Come, you can say bye-bye.
No.
Did you have fun at camp? So look who has returned from camp. It is L3, otherwise known as Juju Bean, around here. What did you make?
Flower.
Wow, that's a very three-dimensional flower.
It's for you.
Thank you, I like it. You want to say bye-bye to everybody?
Bye-bye.
Say thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Say have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for giving me your time, and I wish you the very best day. Good job.